Live. Welcome back, Sports Geeks. Welcome back to another episode, another live stream here. And it's been a little bit, but we're back here with Alec again. Alec, how you doing, man?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm ready to get back into the swing of things. We've had the NFL draft, and we're getting into fantasy football now. We're still months away from drafts, probably, but it's mock draft season officially. NBA finals are going on. I'm probably more worried about mock drafts than watching Jason Tatum choke the NBA finals again. But we're here with a rookies only draft. So for dynasties, rookie only draft. We're going to randomize this draft order and then go ahead and get through it. So we'll go ahead and randomize this once. I'm picking third. You are picking eighth, and then we will go ahead and start this draft.
All right.
So I think the first two overall pick. Yeah, I think these two picks are simple, right? It should be Marv Neighbors. If you have either one of these guys fall into your lap, you are you're dreaming, I think, because they're just they're elite wide receiver ones immediately. In a redraft, I think Marv is going to be a first 3 rounder. Neighbors probably in that 5th to 6th round, but they're studs. Here, Odunze, they have Odunze above Bowers. I'm going to take Bowers. I think Bowers just has a little bit more upside. The positional value of getting a tight end that can really dominate the position. We've seen it with Travis Kelce, right? The year in, year out first round pick. I think Bowers has the potential to be that. And I don't know what I'm getting out of Odunze, right? He's coming into the league. He's wide receiver 3 this year. Keenan Allen's only on contract for 1 year. DJ Moore's on it for 2 years. DJ Moore's that team's wide receiver 1. I don't know how many targets Odunze gets year 1. Year 2, he's going to get more, but I just feel much more safer taking Bowers there at 3.
Yeah, especially in a redraft. Just because, you're right. In year 1, how many targets is Odunze really going to get?
Oh, yeah.
In order for him to, kind of have that elite rookie year, DJ Moore or Keenan Allen would have to get hurt. And Caleb Williams would have to be like a CJ Stroud outlier.
Right. That's the other thing that's like playing into this is that, to service 3 wide receivers is possible, but it requires an elite quarterback play.
Yeah.
And you're getting
also really negative game scripts.
Yes.
So a lot of passing. So I think it just depends, but
yeah.
Okay. So here at 8, this is a little different because it's not super flex.
Right.
So right here, and this is actually really tough for me. I think it's between Ladd and Brian Thomas here. I think that's where I would go. You could argue Keon Coleman as well. I'm going to go Ladd here. I just think there's a major need for wideout in this offense.
Yeah.
Don't know how much they do actually throw, but Justin Herbert is elite. We do know that. And we do know that Quentin Johnston is not very good.
Yes. Well, the other thing too that you have to look at is the target share that left this team, right? You have, Ladd McConkey's walking into this team, and he has, I believe it was like a 48% target share that last year Gerald Everett, Keenan Allen, and Mike Williams had. That's not even mentioning Austin Eckler, right? And so you have, you throw in Eckler in there, over 50% of the targets from last year from Herbert, and Easton Stick, but really Herbert, right, are no longer on this team. Not even, it's not even like they're regressing in their career. They're not even with the team anymore. Johnston's going to get some. Ladd McConkey is going to be an 8 to 12 targets a game guy, I think, as of week 1. So to get that, if you're thinking, if you're in a dynasty, you're drafting in this 8 to 10 range. That means you finished top 3 last year. You're looking at Ladd McConkey, a guy that could, by week 2 be starting. So, I think that's a great pick there. I like Keon Coleman a ton too, for the same reason as Ladd McConkey, right? You have a really good quarterback, and you also just have his favorite target in, the Chargers case, targets gone. So, no Stephon Diggs for Josh Allen anymore. And same thing here. It's favorite targets with Gabe Davis leaving as well. So you lose Gabe Davis, you lose Stephon Diggs. Again, it's over a 50% target share from last year that you're losing. Keon Coleman, you take him, with your first overall, your first draft pick, you're going to utilize him a ton. He's a freak athlete. He's good after the catch. I love Coleman and McConkey. I don't know. What are your thoughts on Coleman, the Coleman-Thomas debate there?
That's tough because you could both argue that they, could be the top target earners actually in their respective offenses. I really like Brian Thomas. It does scare me though that he only had 1 year of production.
Yeah.
We have seen in the past that has not really panned out for majority of wideouts that only have 1 year production.
Right.
Xavier Leggett is another example. Kind of last year of college boom year. So that usually doesn't translate as well as the early production guys like Neighbors, Jamar Chase, people who perform when they're 18 years old. 17 and 18 years old tend to do better in the NFL. But I'm not saying it couldn't happen. I mean, if we're going off of just QB play, I believe in Josh Allen more than Trevor Lawrence. And I think there's a bigger need in the receiving core room for Buffalo than you could argue Jacksonville. So I really do like Keon Coleman.
Yeah. Well, I think all three of those guys that went 8, 9, 10, we talked about it. I talked about it with Ladd and Keon Coleman. But Thomas is in the same boat, right? I mean, they just lost Calvin Ridley, the top target from last year. So, each one of those teams lost their top target and then drafted a receiver high to replace them. These are guys you can get at the end of the first round in your dynasty drafts here that I think are going to be really, really good. But I'll let you go ahead and make your pick. I got to run and grab my laptop charger real quick.
Yep. Okay, sweet. Okay, so kind of this is going through this. This is tough just talking through this. So you got to think Jaden Daniels really would have liked him here just for the fact that he is going to get the rushing yards.
All right, I'm back. What were you thinking there?
All right, so I was thinking I wanted Daniels. I really think he shouldn't fall this far, even in a 1 QB league, just because of his rushing upside. I really think that that's very valuable. Even if he's bad, and we've talked about this before last year, I forget what it was. If you have over, what was it, 110 rush attempts, 120 rush attempts as a QB, there's only been like 1 QB ever to not finish top 12. I think Jaden Daniels gets over 120 rushes this year. So, you're looking at a top 12 QB if he stays healthy. That's a big if also. Trey Benson loved that pick for the CPU right there. I'm going to go Xavier Leggett here.
Okay.
Really I do like Xavier Leggett's profile, and I really think they do need help. So Jonathan Mingo he ain't it, if we're being honest. So I think Leggett gets really big snaps pretty early.
Right. Carolina added Deontay Johnson as well, which he's going to command a lot of targets. But Leggett is somebody that, the upside on him is like DK Metcalf. It is the, freakishly athletic, freakishly large. He's got a really good country accent. That's got to play in at least a little bit.
Has to.
It had to play in with Carolina drafting him as early as they did.
Over Keon Coleman.
Yeah, over Keon Coleman. They took a guy with just a thick – all it took was a thick country accent to elevate him. But I like the pick there. I love Adonai Mitchell and Troy Franklin. I was hoping to get one of those two guys here. Adonai Mitchell is a guy that, to me, he fell in the draft. I think the reason he did is because on a lot of the plays that he wasn't getting the ball, his effort was very mid, to use that term. But the attitude that he's kind of publicly had right now after, he chose number 10 because there were 10 receivers that were drafted before him. He's got this, almost chip on his shoulder that's this dude has vengeance in his eyes. He wants to come out and prove everybody wrong. And that's it's exactly what you want from an organization's perspective, right? But to me, I think Adonai Mitchell's going to come out. He's going to win the wide receiver 2 spots. You have Josh Downs, who's going to be in the slot at all times. Obviously, you have Michael Pittman Jr. That's going to command, he's going to be one of your wideouts. You need another wideout on the field pretty much all the time. And could be Alec Pierce. It's probably going to be Adonai Mitchell. I'm a diehard Cincy fan. I'm telling you, Pierce is good. Adonai Mitchell is Pierce and significantly better. So I mean, I love the fit there in Indiana. I love the pick in the NFL draft. But I want Adonai Mitchell. I wanted Troy Franklin too. I understand he fell deep in the draft, but he's playing with his college quarterback. I mean, he's literally walking into a situation where Bo Nix will trust nobody on that. If he trusts nobody on that team, I can guarantee you, if he only trusts one guy on that team, it's going to be Troy Franklin. And what's that result in? It's the same thing that we saw with Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow, just to a lesser extent, right? And he's just going to get peppered with targets. Fantasy reasons, that's really good. I'm going to take J.J. McCarthy here. There's a couple of different ways I could have gone. He's walking into such a great situation, and with the fact that they just signed Jettis to an extension, you have the best receiver, and in all of football for at least the next 4 years. I want that on my team. Yep. I want the quarterback to supply that on my team. Here, this is another easy pick for me. I haven't gone to wide receiver yet. I don't know how many rounds we'll go here. Maybe only 5. We're definitely not going to do 15 rounds of rookies. But Malachi Corley is somebody that to me is easy here. You have Mike Williams on the last year of his contract, very injury prone. You have Garrett Wilson, who's going to get an extension. He's a stud. But outside of that, I think Malachi Corley is really, really going to command targets in this team going forward. This is a guy that, again, you're drafting in the 3rd round. He's not going to contribute to your team probably at all this year. But Malachi Corley is a guy that you can get in the 3rd round. If for some reason Garrett Wilson gets hurt, he is going to be maybe a flex play. Like, as far as projection for what I'm expecting his volume to be at.
Yep. Yeah.
I love Malachi Corley.
You also have to think, so I'm looking at the depth chart right now. So Garrett Wilson, obviously wide out one. They brought Mike Williams in to be that other outside receiver. Really, for the slot, he's got to beat out Xavier Gibson and Alan Lazard.
Yeah. And Lazard is like a pseudo slot guy. Like
that's what I'm saying. So, and again, all this comes down to, can he build rapport with Aaron Rodgers in training camp?
Yeah.
That's really the main thing. It's not really honestly, I mean, they could have some rando. I mean, they could sign Randall Cobb back. They could. We'd never know. But if he can develop that rapport, Malachi Corley is looking pretty nice for even a flex play. Even if Garrett Wilson and like in a best ball league, Malachi Corley would be awesome.
What's up, Jackson? Sorry, I didn't see the chat, dude. I'm leaving this Saturday to head up there, so I'm excited for it. I mean, I don't. Coleman's going to be. I don't know. He's got just elite jump ball ability. That's kind of why I think he's going to be so good. And Josh Allen loves to just have arm punts, dude. He just third and 8. There's nobody open. I'm just leaning back and throwing it to the deepest receiver, the deepest route that we had. And Coleman has the ability to just come down with those. So I like Coleman. Maybe a little bit of Michigan State bias in there, but I'm upset that he didn't stay at Michigan State. But. But either way, so over to you at the end of the 3rd round here. This is a late pick here. There's still a couple good names on the board there, though.
Yep. You know where I'm going.
Yep. I knew that was coming there.
Yeah, I really like Jermaine Burton. I think he has a really good chance. I actually wrote down in one of my Dynasty leagues that I'm in, really to target whoever wins the Cincy slot job. Don't know if it's going to be Jermaine Burton. Could be Charlie Jones. Could be Yossi Vash. I'm just saying that 3rd receiver in Cincy, if Jermaine Burton can get that as a rookie, he could be just whoever can fill that Tyler Boyd role could be really good, because Trenton Irwin has had a couple huge fantasy, just spikes weeks the past couple years. When Jamar Chase has been out, he's had a couple 25-point weeks.
Yeah.
Jermaine Burton could really find himself in a really nice spot after T. Higgins leaves after this year. If he can kind of build that, rapport with Burrow this year.
Yeah, no, and also like what you're looking at, and from a running back's perspective, like Trey Benson, he essentially would need James Conner to get hurt to have value, right? A guy like Jermaine Burton has 2 guys that can get hurt for him to have extreme upside value, and with both of them being healthy, he still has value. Not even mentioning the fact that there's an extremely high chance that T. Higgins is not with the Bengals next year, in which if Jermaine Burton can have a at least decent rookie season, establish that rapport with Burrow, He's walking into a wide receiver 2 status with Joe Burrow as his quarterback into next year. I mean, you should be drafting him so much higher off of that if that's going to happen. Like if we knew
if we knew that was the case, he would go where like Ricky Pearsall, Mitchell, Leggett go.
Yes, and you would stash him at the bottom of your bench for this year. Maybe you can play him for a little bit, but if you can't, you'd say, I don't care. He's a must start next year. But I love the Jermaine Burton pick. You've gone 3 receivers here.
Yeah.
I have a feeling you're probably going Braylon Allen, though.
I am not going Braylon Allen.
Okay.
I really do like Braylon Allen, though.
Yes.
People are very down on him. Not really sure why. I understand the draft capital. I understand, being drafted 134, looking at it right now. I understand that 4th-round running backs don't always hit. But, yeah, so I'm actually going to go Audric Estime here.
Okay, I like that. Dude, what I didn't realize about Braylon Allen, dude, he's 9. I mean, I did realize. I just kind of forgot to settle in. He's 19 years old. He was born in 2004.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
What did he rush for? Like 1,500 yards as a 17-year-old?
Yeah.
In the Big Ten?
Crazy.
Yeah. And he's also I don't want to get this wrong. He's also 6'1", 235 at 19.
Yeah.
So, yeah. He's crazy big.
Do my Dynasty rookie draft first week of May went 1 quarterback league. Pearsall went 2.9, Nix went 3.7, Senat went undrafted. Jatavion Sanders went 2.4. I love Ben Senat, dude. I love him. I think he's if you wanted to stack him and Jaden Daniels at any point, if you were to get Daniels at 6 or 7, maybe 8, and then get Senat, and he was able to fall to you in the 3rd round, I would be thrilled with that. I
don't know what's crazier, him going undrafted or Jatavion Sanders going at 2.4. I actually don't know what's crazier.
Yeah,
both are crazy.
Jackson, who did you end up with then? Because that's kind of Jatavion Sanders. Somebody drafting Jatavion Sanders before Ricky Pearsall is insane to me.
So I mean, they would have had to draft him before a combination of Blake Corum, AD Mitchell. There would have been like a group of 4 or 5.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, not that he can't be good. Yeah.
Oh my God, he got him on waivers. That's crazy.
Yeah, it is.
Was that 3 rounds though? I'm guessing it was 3 rounds. It had to have been.
Yeah. All right, so over to me though here in the 4th round. This is tough here, because obviously you're getting to the people that can they produce any value to you at all. And the realistic answer is probably no. To be quite honest, at this range, probably no. And I'm going to go Will Shipley. He's an animal. He's really experienced. He really doesn't fumble the ball. And worthy at 1.9. Had to trade Stafford and Kupp to get to 1.9. Worthy at 1.9
that's a great value.
Great value. I mean, Rashee Rice is going to be out of the league within probably a year. So, I mean, realistically, if he continues the path he's down, they haven't said anything about suspension yet, have they?
I don't think so. I don't even want to speculate what it would be, but I'm not really sure.
My just initial thing, I would guess a minimum of 6 to 8.
You'd have to think, especially after I don't know if it was a strip. I don't know if it was a strip club, but it was just a club, right?
Yeah, I think just the club photographer.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I think that just is icing on the cake.
Yeah. I mean, that pretty much secured the fact that this guy.
Also, the security footage of them leaving the scene was pretty crazy too, of the car. So
yes, and and there's so much more like rumors of them taking automatic guns out of the back.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But yeah, I love Shipley though. I mean, he's an athletic freak. He's really good. He played high level football at Clemson. Saquon Barkley is a stud, but if he were to go down, he's running behind one of the best offensive lines in the league, if not the best offensive line.
Rasheed going ahead of Worthy in startup drafts is pretty That's a pretty bold move. I actually heard a good take the other day. Like people are scared to draft Worthy because they got burned by Sky Moore, but you got to think Xavier Worthy's profile is just so much better than Sky Moore.
Right. Sky Moore kind of screamed a like a Tyreek Hill wannabe, like starting off as a punt returner that was really good in like breaking out into a wide receiver, whereas Xavier Worthy is just a stud of a receiver that also happens to be lightning fast. That's like why the comp of Tyreek Hill. Like
you also got to think, and I know that small guys can hit, or small. He is small. He's a small guy. Like small school guys can hit. We have seen that. It's just a lower percentage.
Yes.
I know it's an easy comparison, but Corey Davis went to Western Michigan. He literally had like the greatest statistical career of all time, and for him being the 4th overall pick, he was like borderline a bust.
Yes.
So it's just hard for small school receivers to make the adjustment. But who are you going with here?
I think we might just call it here because, in all honesty, if you get beyond,
I was looking at it. I have no idea.
Yeah, I mean, beyond here, no, I don't see anybody that's providing you any value. You're just drafting in hopes of like maybe multiple injuries. But kind of just to go recap through this, I love Worth. I mean, the entire first round. You have what 2, 4, 6, 7 receivers that I love. Any of them. Obviously Bowers, love him as well. And Caleb Williams, your entire first round is going to be people that are playing for you at some point this year.
Yep.
So, Braylon Allen in the later rounds. I think Michael Penix, where he went, is fine. Michael Penix, Kirko's on a 2 to 3 year. That is, yes, Jackson. Good point. If you have one in the next, Jackson, you said yours Wednesday.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah, Theo Johnson. Depends how casual.
Yeah, go ahead and try to get him before everybody catches up.
Yeah,
everybody catches up with that.
But I think Penix. You have Kirko on a 4-year, essentially 2-year though, right? $90 million guaranteed. It's all up front in the first 2 years.
Yep.
They could cut him in year 3 with maybe $5 million in dead cap, which is pocket change to cut a quarterback. Penix could be their guy. I would assume if you're taking him 8th overall, you are taking him to, in year 3, be your guy. And you have weapons, and very good weapons. You have Drake London, Kyle Pitts, and Bijan Robinson. That offense is stacked to be good, skill position-wise. Penix is a guy that if he's leading that team, he's a gunslinger. We saw that at Washington. I want to have, a hand in that pool. And if you're getting him in the late 3rd round, it's not worth it's not bad flyer.
No, because you're taking him next to players like Ray Davis and Tyrone Tracy. And yeah. Well, I guess that's the other side. I'm stupid. I'm used to the regular. But, okay.
Bucky Irving,
and Brendan Rice. The risk is not very high other than you just basically wasting a roster spot if you don't have a taxi squad.
Yeah.
But if your league has a taxi squad, he is literally textbook definition taxi squad.
Yeah, might be worth drafting in your rookie draft, beginning of the 3rd round,
just to put on the taxi squad.
Yes, just to put on the taxi squad. And it's a pick that you might get clowned on right now, but in 3 years down the line, when Penix finishes as a top 12 quarterback and you have him, it's going to be.
Yeah, you also have to
goes for 4,500 yards.
Yeah.
You're going to look like a genius.
You also have to think his value can't tank until he gets a starting job. So basically, you can't. His value. You could trade him for a 3rd next year if you really wanted to. It's just his value will just stick.
Yeah.
Until he gets a starting job.
Thoughts on his teammate? I think Javonte wins the role, but it's also, again, running backs are so volatile in that as soon as he goes down, his teammate's there.
I just can't. He's 20, so he's young enough. So he hits the age threshold. Thing with Javonte as well. Last year of his rookie deal, regime that drafted him is no longer there. Jaleel McLaughlin was already getting carries last year. I really think that Audric Estime legitimately has the body type to be a bell cow as much as you can be in today's NFL. One Javonte injury, and I think Audric Estime is like at least the first 2 down running back.
Yeah. Well, the other thing, Javonte Williams, I think is plenty good. As far as like having him in a league, I think he's plenty good, and he'll find a home somewhere. But like you said, it's a different regime. If he's good, but he doesn't fit what they want to have at running back, his teammate is going to get carries, and also his teammate is extremely good around the goal line, like extremely good. And Williams has had some fumbling issues in the past, so I wouldn't be surprised if his teammate gets some goal line carries.
Yeah, and it's also, you got to think that this is Sean Payton. Sean Payton is always heavily used 2 running backs.
Yeah.
So it is very hard for me to imagine that a 5'8", 186-pound Jaleel McLaughlin and an often injury-prone Javonte Williams during his NFL career so far, that both could stay healthy for all 17 games. So we're going to see Estime at least be getting 10, 12 carries in a couple games this year. And if he pops in those, then he could easily take over the role.
Yeah, I think Estime, like if I had to take anybody in this 4th round to guarantee that they're going to have 2 or 3 games this year that is starting worthy, Estime is going to have, Braylon Allen probably is going to have one. Bucky Irving at some point is going to, because he's going to break 2 big runs, probably.
You got to think like these guys in the 4th. Like if you're taking these guys in the 4th, like Ray Davis, Will Shipley, Isaac Guerrero, just looking at some of these guys, like it's hard to see the path for them to pop. But for like Audric Estime, Braylon Allen, it's just one injury away.
Yes.
And then
I would argue Shipley is one injury away as well.
You think?
I would say if Saquon goes down, it probably goes to a committee, and if it goes to a committee, Shipley wins that pretty quickly, I would say.
Yeah, as long as Boston Scott's not lurking around for this.
As long as they're not playing Giants.
Yeah, as long as Boston Scott doesn't get his 4 carries for 3 touchdowns and 12 yards, then
yeah. Agreed. But anyways, this has been a good first rookie draft here back. Tons more fantasy football content coming because we're entering into the addict season, where you really have to be an addict for fantasy football to be. If you're in a like a league that's like high stakes and everybody loves it, you're probably drafting already. If you're not and you love it, you're probably mock drafting like us already. So this has been a good first mock draft. We'll be back more next week with some more mock drafts, maybe another rookie draft, maybe a full regular redraft. But either way, this has been the Sports Geeks podcast.